See, Maya J says, I posted this on another video of yours, but I'll post it here. Okay, you have a question. All right. Oh yeah, I was just about to answer your question. I saw that on the. You said that you have 14 years of experience. You got a PMP, you got ITPM, Program Manager. You got PMP. Oh, that's a good one. You got Agile Certified PMP ACP. That's good. You got 14 years of experience. I want to transition into computer science, compliance space. Do you mean CS, computer science, or computer security? Which one? Compliance space in the private sector. Should I pursue a CISSP? And what other search do you recommend? Okay, this is a good question. So Maya J wants to know, coming from a PMP, a professional IT PMP program manager for 14 years, and wants to transition into cybersecurity, specifically for compliance in the private sector, what should I pursue? What certifications do you recommend? Okay, let me see. What would I do if I was a program manager and I wanted to go deeper? I had a friend of mine at my last job, was also a program manager, had a PMP, and was also wanting to do cybersecurity in particular. For stability, there's an increase in pay provided that you specialize. So there's a lot of different reasons why he wanted to transition. And then he asked me, and then he asks people on the team. He would ask, any kind of questions that he had, he would come to us and ask. And what we advised him to do was start with the Comptia certifications. And I would not recommend going straight to a CISSP. It's very difficult, and it's kind of convoluted if you don't. It's convoluted, period, really. But if you don't know the common body of knowledge, if you're not familiar with it, that goes into cybersecurity, then it's not going to make any sense. It's just not going to make any sense. So I would start from the bottom, from a cybersecurity perspective, is what I would do if I was you. And luckily, you actually have a really good start because you've had exposure to security and IT for a long time, so that works in your favor. So what I would do first, and I think you mentioned it here, you said, I'm currently studying for the Security Plus certification for foundational knowledge. Exactly. Because think about your career field, your career path. If I'm a cybersecurity person and I want to go into PMP, what would you recommend that I start off with? Like, where should I start if I want to go become a program manager? Where would you recommend that I start? So for me, I would recommend you go to Comptia and you start with probably Security Plus or Network Plus. Like, depending on if you really, really don't know anything about IT, then I would start with A Plus and Network Plus. If you have a pretty good solid understanding and you can hook up your home network in your house, you already know what IP addresses are, you know how to do subnet masks, you know the basics of hardware and software and how to secure them, then yeah, you can probably just go straight to a Security Plus. If you really don't know anything, I would start with A Plus and Network Plus to ramp up your knowledge. But yeah, you want to do that foundational knowledge on security. You could start with security. You could do Security Plus and know that common body of knowledge. And then as you go, if you have any questions on networking, kind of make a side trip, a side journey into networking and learn it. You could totally do that. Because with Security Plus, you don't have to be super deep in networking. You don't have to be super deep in A Plus, which A Plus is like fixing and breaking hardware and software. It's the components in an actual computer or a server. So that's what that's all about. But yeah, that's a good start. I would say start with the Security Plus, and then from the Security Plus, if you want to do compliance, you've got a couple of options. One is called the CAP course. A CAP is specifically for compliance. So let me show you what I'm talking about. There's actually a couple of compliance type certifications. I'm going to show you a couple of them. The one I have that focuses on the NIST, and the NIST is dealing with mostly governments. So you're going to be doing a lot of government work if you do this CAP course. So here's one that you could take. It's a step below, a significant step below the CISSP, but it focuses on just compliance. Another one you could do, these guys may have a compliance certification. Let me see. I'm looking for compliance. I think CASP has compliance stuff in it. Security Plus definitely has compliance stuff in it. So that is another route you could go after you do the Security Plus. I think they expect you to have a certain amount of years done to get the CASP Plus. But let me show you something else. SANS has a compliance certification too. I want you to see that one too. I don't want to just talk about Comptia and ISC2 squared. So here's SANS right here. SANS has some of the best courses if you really want to know what you're doing. Well, I found with SANS courses and SANS certifications is that, I'm trying to look for their certifications here. I don't have a cert, but having worked with people who have the SANS cert and having been in a lot of different jobs and roles where I'm working right side by side with people with a CISP, a Security Plus, and then somebody who has SANS courses, what I found is even though the SANS courses aren't as marketable, for whatever reason, it's just because our market is too ignorant to know how awesome this certification is. The SANS people who do these SANS courses really know what the hell they're doing. Like, I found that it's not just window dressing. This is a hardcore certification, and it really trains people to know hands-on what you're doing. And I'm looking for the actual compliance certification because I know they have one. Let me see. This might be. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. I know they have one. I'm trying to think about it. If you guys know what it is. Effective community. Okay. There's different options after you do the Security Plus. You've got a GIAC certification that focuses on compliance. You've got the CASP. You've got the CAP. All of those would be a good step up. And then finally, when you got 5 years under your belt of actual security experience, or if you've been in for a while, like maybe 2-3 years of just solid IT security, then go ahead and take the CISSP, but you may not even need it if you take the CASP, to be honest with you. I hope that answers your question. Alright, I do have 7 years in experience doing in governance, risk compliance within the IT. Oh, okay, that's really good. That's really good to have. You should put that on your resume. You could, once you get the Security Plus, since you have so much experience already, you can having that extra 7 years experience, what I would do after you get the Security Plus, I would either go get the CAP or I'd get the CASP. I'd do one of those. And the reason why I would do that is because the CAP specifically says I have NIST experience. NIST is huge with governance, risk, and compliance. This CASP is very marketable to where you probably won't even need the CISSP. So that's what I would recommend you do. Alright, I got some other questions here I'm going to dig up from my